in lofty phrases of political and spiritual renewal. Those who kill large numbers of people always claim it as a virtue. The campaign to rid the world of terror is expressed within the confines of this rhetoric, as if, once all terrorists are destroyed, evil itself will vanish. The reality behind the myth, however, is very different. The reality and the ideal tragically clash when soldiers and Marines return home. These combat veterans are often alienated from the world around them, a world that still believes in the myth of war and the virtues of the nation. They confront the grave existential crisis of all who go through combat and understand that we have no monopoly on virtue, that in war we become as barbaric and savage as those we oppose. This is a profound crisis of faith. It shatters the myths, national and religious, these young men and women were fed before they left for Iraq. In short, they uncover the lie they have been told. Their relationship with the nation will never be the same. These veterans give us a true narrative of the war, one that exposes the vast enterprise of industrial slaughter unleashed in Iraq. They expose the lie. This unit sets up a traffic control point, and this 18-year-old kid is on top of an armored Humvee with a .50 caliber machine gun, remembered Sergeant Jeffrey Millard, who served in Tikrit with the 42nd Infantry Division. And this car speeds at him pretty quick, and he makes a split-second decision that that's a suicide bomber, and he presses the butterfly trigger and puts 200 rounds in less than a minute into this vehicle. It killed the mother, the father, and 2 kids. The boy was aged 4, and the daughter was aged 3. And they briefed this to the general, Millard said. And they briefed it gruesome. I mean, they had pictures. They briefed it to him, and this colonel turns around to this full division staff and says, "If these fucking Hajis learned to drive, this shit wouldn't happen." Millard and tens of thousands of other veterans suffer not only delayed reactions to stress, but this crisis of faith. The God they knew, or thought they knew, failed them. The church or the synagogue or the mosque, which promised redemption by serving God and country, did not prepare them for the awful betrayal of this civic religion, for the capacity we all have for human atrocity, for the stories of heroism used to mask the reality of war. War is always about betrayal. Betrayal of the young by the old, of idealists by cynics, and of troops by politicians. This bitter knowledge of betrayal has seeped into the ranks of America's Iraq War veterans. It has unleashed a new wave of disillusioned veterans, not seen since the Vietnam War. It has made it possible for us to begin again to see war's death mask and understand our complicity in evil. And then, my sort of sentiment of, what the fuck are we doing, that I felt that way in Iraq, said Sergeant Ben Flanders, who estimated that he ran hundreds of military convoys in Iraq. It's the sort of insanity of it, and the fact that it reduces it. Well, I think war does anyway, but I felt like there was this enormous reduction in my compassion for people. The only thing that wound up mattering is myself and the guys I was with, and everybody else be damned, whether you're an Iraqi. I'm sorry you live here. I'm sorry this is a terrible situation, and I'm sorry that you have to deal with all of, army vehicles running around and shooting, and these insurgents and all that stuff. The Hobbesian world of Iraq described by Flanders is one where the ethic is kill or be killed. All nuance and distinction vanished for him. He fell, like most of the occupation troops, into a binary world of us and them, the good and the bad, those worthy of life and those unworthy of life. The vast majority of Iraqi civilians caught in the middle of the clash among militias, death squads, criminal gangs, foreign fighters, kidnapping rings, terrorists, and heavily armed occupation troops were just one more impediment that, if they happened to get in the way, had to be eradicated. These Iraqis were no longer human. They were abstractions in human form. The first briefing you get when you get off the plane in Kuwait, and you get off the plane and you're holding a duffel bag.